Greetings, class. Welcome to Duel Academy. Professor Rivas here, and this will be the third lesson of your third class in your Obelisk Blue term, Tournament Readiness, Tournament Infractions and Penalties. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to be up to date with the latest Duel Academy lessons and assessments. So without further ado, get your deck, get your game on, and let's get started. In today's class, we will go over the types of infractions that can be committed in a tournament as well as their penalties. An infraction is given to a player when they commit an error in gameplay or policy, followed by a penalty, which is a consequence to the infraction. There are 5 levels of infraction: minor, which results in a warning; major, which results in a game loss; strict, which results in a match loss; severe, which results in a disqualification; and cheating, which also results in a disqualification. There are 7 types of infractions: procedural error, tardiness, deck and deckless errors, drawing extra cards, marked cards, slow play, and unsporting conduct. It is important to understand these types of infractions so that you yourself do not commit them, and so that you can recognize if your opponent commits them. First, let's discuss a procedural error. This type of infraction involves general play errors a duelist might commit in the course of a game. If a duelist commits an error that can be easily corrected, it will result in an infraction level minor, which leads to a warning penalty. If a duelist commits an error that is irreversible, it will result in an infraction level major, which leads to a game loss penalty. And if a duelist commits an error that does not allow them to finish the current match, it will result in the infraction level strict, which leads to a match loss penalty. Examples of each type of infraction is shown on the screen. Secondly, we will discuss tardiness. This type of infraction occurs when a duelist does not begin their match within the specified time frame allowed by the tournament. When a duelist is not in their seat and ready to begin after 3 minutes into the round, that will result in the infraction level major, which leads to a game loss penalty. If a duelist is not in their seat and ready to begin after 10 minutes into the round, that will result in an infraction level strict, which leads to a match loss penalty. Thirdly, we will discuss deck and deckless errors. This type of infraction occurs when a duelist registers incorrect contents on their deck list or is playing with an illegal deck. If a duelist realizes they have an illegal deck or deck list and bring attention to it before the first round, that will result in the infraction level minor, which leads to a warning penalty. However, if a duelist registers an illegal deck, has an illegal deck, or has a deck that does not match the deck list, that will result in the infraction level major, which leads to a game loss penalty. Fourthly, we will discuss drawing extra cards. This type of infraction occurs when a duelist draws cards from the deck outside of when they are allowed to do so. If a duelist does this, and the card is identifiable by both duelists or logically by a judge, it will result in the infraction level minor, which leads to a warning penalty. However, if a duelist draws a card outside of when they are supposed to, and it is not identifiable, it will result in the infraction level major, which leads to a game loss penalty. Fifthly, let's talk about marked cards. A card or sleeve can be considered marked if it can be distinguished from the cards contained in the deck while it is face down. If one or very few cards in the deck show minor marking with no significant pattern, it will result in the infraction level minor, which leads to a warning penalty. If there are a significant number of marked cards with no pattern, it will result in the infraction level major, which leads to a game loss penalty. However, if there is a significant number of marked cards and there is a pattern, it will result in the infraction level strict, which leads to a match loss penalty. Next, we will discuss slow playing. Slow playing is when a duelist is playing slowly, causing a minor delay in the game. If this occurs, it will result in the infraction level minor, which leads to a warning penalty. However, if this continues, it may be upgraded to the major level and even the strict level. Lastly, let's discuss unsporting conduct. This infraction is associated with intentional inappropriate behavior from a person during a tournament. The severity of the inappropriate behavior determines the level of the infraction along with its penalty. Insulting a player or throwing a chair can lead to minor and major infractions respectively, while stealing/assisting with stealing or cheating can lead to severe or cheating infractions respectively. It is important to always be on your best behavior to avoid these infractions. Thank you so much for attending this class. There will be a quiz in this lesson, so don't forget to take it. Your final exam will follow soon after. I hope you have a great day, and class dismissed.